She is very close to Land's End. If you don't know, she's running around the coastline of Britain. And I just found these online earlier. This is her speaking at YesStories. That's her on LinkedIn. And this is her on her run. Kind of boasting the Say Yes More buff. So we're going to try. This never works first time, and I've also got a tiny little wire, so I need to plug this in. There's no Wi-Fi down here, so we can't Skype her. I'm just trying to... Oh, yeah, okay.
You've got the science guy making fun of you.
Brilliant. Thanks, buddy. Oh, it's just tiny. There's no roaming. Okay, here we go. Come on, Elise. Yeah. Big cheer when she picks up.
Hello?
Hello, you.
Hi.
Elise, where are you right now? Fill us in.
I'm really confused. I was watching on Periscope and someone was doing a talk.
Oh, and my phone died.
Don't believe what you watch
really
on TV.
confused. No, I don't. I'm in St Ives anyway.
And that's in Cornwall?
It is in Cornwall. It's about some miles north of Land's End. I can't remember how many.
Some miles. Well, it's great that you're paying attention on this run.
Yeah, so much attention.
Elise, can you just fill everybody in on exactly what you're doing, how long you've been running, and how many miles you've covered so far?
So I'm running around the coast of the UK. I started on November the 1st, a very foggy Sunday morning, which feels like a really long time ago now. And I started in Greenwich, and I've worked clockwise round to just past Land's End. So I think that was about 700 and something miles, maybe a bit more, a bit less. My brother keeps getting really angry at me for not counting properly, but somewhere in that region.
And can you, I mean, there's so much I want to ask you personally. First of all, I loaned you a tent at the beginning of the trip, and can you tell me how many times you've used it so far? And why or not?
Well, I haven't used it at all yet. It's getting very warmly in my parents' spare bedroom after I posted it home. My mum did say when I posted home it was the ugliest package I'd ever sent because I'd wrapped it up so badly, but I guess that's another story. But people have just been so nice. The world is so nice, and I've had a warm bed every night. So amazing. I haven't had camping yet. I will be camping when I get to Scotland and probably visit to Wales, and I'm excited for that. But at the moment, when it's chucking it down and it's dark at 4 o'clock, I have to say I'm not too upset that the tent's still in the spare room.
Hold on, are you telling us that you started running on the 1st of November and you haven't yet camped? You've been taken in every single night?
Yeah, there's been 2 nights I paid for somewhere because obviously I sent my tent home. And but other than that, how many nights? What's the date? The 19th. That's 60, 80 days. But yeah, some number that I can't It's incredible.
It's okay. We already worked out you're not very good at counting.
Well, I'm quite good at math.
How's your body feeling?
It's good. So I haven't had any blisters yet, which no one will be able to believe. My feet are reasonably happy, although constantly wet. But yeah, pretty good at the moment. I'm aching a bit today. I did a bit of a coast pass that they described as a roller coaster on the South West Coast Pass website, and it was quite hard. So a bit achy tonight, but holding it surprisingly well.
How much are you carrying? You've got a little rucksack with you with all your supplies. How heavy is that?
I haven't weighed it. I'm too scared. I don't even know the truth. But when I set off, I thought I've done really well here. There's no way I could ever have less stuff than this. And then at some point over the first 2 months, I just acquired loads of things. And then when I had to pop home over the New Year when I hurt my leg a bit, and I stripped back even more, so I've now got pretty much nothing in there. There's just one set of clothes and a Rubik's Cube.
if my own trips have ever taught me anything, it's that as soon as you go on a journey like this, you meet people, but then they want to give you a gift, and you have to become really ruthless at saying no unless you would just want to physically break. How many gifts have you been offered, and is there one that stands out?
So I've been quite good at saying no to things. I did acquire a few items of clothing because people get me worried I'd be cold, and I didn't have the heart to say no. And then like clothes felt like something I couldn't throw away. People just keep wanting to give me snacks. I think the reputation of eating cake has really got out of hand. And when I emptied my backpack, I had 20 snack bars in there. It was just ludicrous. But the Rubik's Cube has to be the best thing I've acquired, and it's really good. It's good brain training.
How fast can you do a Rubik's Cube from fully
So I've
mashed?
only done it once so far, and it was a million times harder than any of the running. It was so hard. But I think I'm hoping to get better, but I keep trying to do it on buses and stuff, and then it gets all mixed up in my bag again. So.
Are you doing a Rubik's Cube more than you're running?
No, but it's tempting. The day that I was like one move away from finishing it, and I couldn't concentrate on the running. I just kept thinking about the Rubik's Cube.
What?
It's a bit weird.
Obviously, you're moving pretty slowly, and you're travelling a fair distance each day when you're on the move. What do you think about apart from Rubik's Cubes?
So it's weird because when I used to run, I always listened to music, completely awful music, but music nonetheless. And then I know for the first few weeks of the run, I carried on listening to music and I listened to podcasts. And then at some point, about 3 weeks in, I just stopped. And now I just have full-blown conversations with myself all day, every day. Because it's winter, there's no one else on the coast path. So I'm gesturing and talking out loud and really going for it. And then every now and again someone comes over the hill and it gets really embarrassing.
Do you feel like there's a theme developing on this trip? Has anything just happened again and again and again that you wouldn't have expected?
I think I had a good answer to that question, and now I can't remember what it was. I think
Maybe that's
more than anything stupid, just how nice people are. Because when I set up from a 10, I thought, well, that's it, I'll count people. Every now and again, someone might be nice. But people have just been so nice. Last week, a guy called Paul emailed me, and he has walked out the Southwest Coast Path last year, and he said, people are so nice to me, I really want to sort of repay the kindness. And he invited me to stay for a night. He ended up ferrying me back and forth in the coast path for 3 nights. I was in bed with his children reading all my old favourite stories, and it was just so much fun. I think they probably thought they were never ever getting rid of me. And it just, people like that, I just can't believe how nice people could be.
That's so cool, and probably for a lot of people that would be really refreshing, but I think we're kind of getting used to how kind people are.
Yeah.
We're going to try, this might be technically a bit messy, but who has a question that they'd like to ask Elise?
How does she manage to get the houses each night? Does she just knock on doors or does she post it social media wise?
Okay, the question was, how do you manage to find places to stay each night? Do you go door knocking, or do you just happen to meet people?
I definitely haven't been door knocking. Way too civil with that. So, it's definitely, I have had to put a bit of work into it. So, I've discovered that when you go to the off-season, guest houses and hotels are really keen to help you because they've got empty rooms. And then quite a lot of people have sort of got in touch and said, like, I've heard what you're doing, I live here, can I help? And I think it's just being not afraid to actually take people up on those offers, because I used to just think I was being really rude, and but I figured that people offer because they want to help. So I just say yes to people now, actually. So, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely got a lot easier. I guess more people have heard about it, people have got in touch a lot, but kind of hotels, guest houses have been really nice as well, which I guess they wouldn't have been in the summer, so that's a perk of doing it in the winter.
Amazing. Good hint for everybody. If you want to do a journey in the UK, do it in winter. Tamsin.
I used to remember hearing Elise say yes ago when she was really scared. while doing the run, and I want to know how quickly it took for her fears to disappear.
Okay, the question was from Tamsin. At YesStories, she heard you speak, and you seemed quite scared. So, how fast or how quick was it? I'm not phrasing this very well. Are you scared anymore?
I know, it's a different kind of scared. So yeah, at YesStories, I was completely petrified and I didn't want to talk to anyone, and it all seemed like the worst thing in the world. And then the rest of that week I felt pretty much the same and cried quite a lot and ate loads of biscuits. And then November 1st came and I was like, well, I suppose I've got to go and do this thing. And I think because I was so convinced that I wouldn't be able to take a single step and I wouldn't be able to do any of it, as soon as I started and it was actually kind of possible, then it stopped being so scary. But it's scary in different ways now. There's like actual things to be scared of, like cows with horns and dark nights and coast cars and wind. So it's still scary, but I'm not quite obsessive about it.
Wind. Yeah.
The cows are a real problem. I don't know why.
How much training did she have to do beforehand, if any?
Elise, how much training did you have to do beforehand?
I feel like it might be time to open up and tell you all my secrets.
Yeah.
So, not much. I've been running, and I actually sat down with Anna enough, I think early August, and we went to Lyon and we ate chocolate, and she wrote out this amazing training plan for me, which I kept to for about a week and a half. But I think in the 6 weeks before the run, I went for 3 runs. So, basically no. Which I didn't want to tell anyone. I probably lied to them.
What distance, Elise, what distance were those 3 training runs?
Okay, so this is quite a mixture. One was, because I was doing marathons, so one was 16 miles and I was actually really, really hungover and had to stop for chocolate milk halfway through. Then I did a marathon, so that was 26 miles. Then I did 10 miles when I was on holiday with my dad, and then the week up before it, 2.5 miles before giving up and walking home.
You'll find that's 5 training runs, Elise. Not at all daunting for anybody else. All you need to do is do a few marathons just to train for this. One more question from Andy.
For Elise, obviously, but Dave, you talk in your own stuff about how actually you just need to sort of get started with hearing it. So I guess what I want to know is like, Elise's got a and how does she feel about the rest?
Okay, Elise, so the question was, you're near Land's End now, you're 700 miles odd in, but you've got a long way to go. So how do you feel, just in case you didn't know, how do you feel about the rest of the trip?
I think it's definitely, I change how I feel about that song every day. I think that's what I found really hard when I had my wobbly few weeks over Christmas. But kind of the honeymoon period was over, but also it was like, oh shit, there is 4,000 miles to go, and that's a really long way. So I think I'm just trying really hard to think about it day by day. So if I went to the morning, I'm like, well, I can run 15 miles, or I can run 10 miles, or I can scramble up those hills, and I'm just not thinking about how much more there is to go because it's too far and it hurts my head.
That's just amazing. Everyone's just kind of shaking their heads in awe listening to you. How can we follow you? What's your website? What's your Facebook? What's your Twitter? How are you sharing this trip?
So I have all of the above. My website is just elisedowning.com, and then my Facebook page is Elise Downing Run the Coast, and Twitter is Elise D Downing. And I ramble in extended or shorter forms on all 3.
Elise, so good to talk to you. Thanks for calling us.